Okay, whenever you have a square root, like this is the square root of m, whenever you want to get rid of the index here is 2. That is this number right there, okay? It is that number right there. If you want to get rid of that 2, what you do is you put a parenthesis around this and you square it. What happens is that will take that 2 out, and that takes out that square root, and what you're left with is just the base. Over here, if I want to get rid of that cube root, I'm going to take that to the third power. What will happen is that third power will help eliminate that cube root. What's left is just the base. And then same thing down here. If I wanted to get rid of that fourth power, or that fourth root, I take everything to the fourth power, leaving just the p. And so we're going to use this little exercise today. All right? So let me go ahead and eliminate all this. Okay, so we're going to eliminate all of that right there. Let me X that out again. Boom, there we go. Now, what we're going to do is I'm going to bring this over. This is the worksheet that you're working on. Okay, and we're going to go through this. Now remember, the radicals symbol, which is right here, this radical symbol right here, this word, all right, that's used to indicate roots. Whenever you have like this right here, this is the cube root of 125. As it shows on this worksheet, it's that 3 right there is the index right there. Okay, that's the index. Let me go right here. Hold on, don't want to do that. All right. That little part right there, that's the index. The 125 is the radicand, and then you have the root symbol, which is called the radical. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to eliminate that right there. Now, here for your worksheet, I'm going to blow this up a little bit so I can work with it. One of the things you got to remember is this little rule right here. If you have a to the m power and you take it to the nth power, you're actually, when you take a power to a power, you actually multiply the powers. So that's going to be a to the m times n. All right, hopefully that makes a little sense. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to erase that right there. Let me go ahead and erase that. Come on now. I'm going to erase that right there. There we go. Now, I'm going to go back to this. This is your worksheet. Let me blow this up a little bit so you can see it. So we're going to follow a series of steps. The first step is, this is the square root of 4 equals 4 to the k power. What you do to one side, you do to both sides. So we're going to square both sides. So this is going to be the square root of 4, and this is going to be 4 to the k power. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to square both sides. And what that does, that gets rid of the radical on this side, leaving 4 to the first power. That's this right here. Then, remember when we take a power to a power, I'm going to multiply 2 times k. So I end up getting 4 to the power of 2 times k. Now, what it says is, hey, let's remember this rule right here. When you have like bases, you simply take the exponents and put them equal to each other. So I'm going to take the 1 and the 2k, and I'm going to put them equal to each other because the 4's are the same. Now, how do I solve for k? How do I get k by itself? Well, this is a multiplication problem. So 2 times k, how do you undo it? Well, you undo it by dividing. So if I divide both sides by 2, remember what you do to one side, you do to the other. I'm going to cancel these 2's out, and what I'm left with is k equal to 1/2. Now, what does that mean? Substitute your value back in for k. So if I put the square root of 4 equals 4 to the 1/2. One of the things that I failed to tell you is the 1 is the power. That's your exponent. The 2 on the denominator is actually your index. Okay? Now, if you go back to the lesson above, if you look at this real quick, let me see if I can take this. Watch. If you go back up here, notice this little portion right here says this is the index. Notice where the index is. It's where the root is. So I'm going to go back. I'm going to go back to what we were doing. If I just told you that the 2 is the index, that means that would go right there. And then since the 1 is the power, that would go right there. Now look, I have the square root of 4. There's no index here. So when there is no index here, oh, hold on. When there's no index, that's automatically understood to be 2. So I'm going to erase this, and I can actually put a 2 here. All right? And this is the same as that side, so they're now equal.